Well, my friends, um, something interesting, and I think I mentioned only one of these recently, and that was John Kerry was leaving, like literally the day after the election or the day of the election, the vote. He was heading off to Antarctica, the hell's in Antarctica? Seriously, the South Pole? Yeah, that's where he's going. Well, we have him, Kerry's leaving, Michelle Obama leaving, and Mr. Barack Obama leaving the country. All of them are leaving the country at practically the same time. And all I can think of is George Bush when 9/11 happened, and he was inside the school in Florida, and the kids, the teacher, they had the video camera in there, and she's repeating, the kids repeating, plane, hit, or was it steel, building, plane, steel, hit, building, something like that. You can see this. This is incredible. And he's there, but, Dick Cheney was running things. He was in the bunker at the Pentagon, so it wasn't actually George Bush who was running things. He was out of the Pentagon. He wasn't in the White House. He was down in Florida. They had to get him on the plane and get him out of there. But again, after all this happened, we learned it was really Dick Cheney running things, vice president. So now he didn't leave the country, but he was out in a schoolroom in Florida when it happened. So let's take a look at some of this stuff. Michelle Obama departs Sunday, which this was posted today, so I'm assuming next week. Michelle Obama departs Sunday for a 6-day overseas trip. She departs Sunday on a 6-day trip off to Africa and Europe to advocate for the Let Girls Learn initiative, the White House has said. The stops in Liberia and Morocco will be recorded for a documentary by CNN Films. That's Clinton News Network, in case you didn't know. Which is picking up the costs for 2 trip participants, actress Meryl Streep and Frida Pinto, an Obama aide said Friday. The documentary will air in the fall, said Tina Chen, the First Lady's chief of staff. Let Girls Learn is a U.S. government-wide effort to get the estimated 62 million uneducated girls overseas into classrooms. Poverty, cultural barriers, violence, and forced marriage are among hurdles they confront. In Liberia on Monday, the First Lady will be joined by Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Obama will visit a Peace Corps training facility in Kakata and a school in Unification Town. So anyways, she's leaving. Obama to speak before 6-day trip, reassuring world leaders. It was supposed to be his grand valedictory tour. Now President Barack Obama must use his last major trip abroad to try to calm shocked world leaders about the outcome of the U.S. election and what comes next when Donald Trump is president. Trump's unforeseen victory has triggered pangs of uncertainty at home and grave concerns around the world. Though Obama has urged unity and said the U.S. must root for Trump's success, the president's trip to Greece, Germany, and Peru forces him to confront global concerns about the future of America's leadership. Obama departs Monday on the 6-day trip. Well, again, this is posted. Actually, this was Thursday. So maybe they're talking him and his wife have left today. Today being Monday. Tomorrow you'll see this Tuesday. Obama's trip planned when it seemed certain Hillary Clinton would win, had been designed to reassure the world that the U.S. had regained its footing after a toxic campaign that unnerved foreign capitals, noted Heather Conley, a European scholar at the Washington-based Center for Strategic and International Studies. Now the president has the unenviable task of telling his counterparts and explaining what Europeans are now coining the Trump effect. For months, Obama lent credence to those concerns as he urged Americans to reject Trump. Standing alongside Singapore's Prime Minister in August, Obama said Trump was woefully unprepared because he lacked basic knowledge about critical issues in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East. And during a visit to Japan, Obama said he wasn't the only world leader worried about Trump. So he has lacked the basic understanding or basic knowledge. I'm sorry, but I remember seeing you, Mr. President, talking That's Mr. President Obama currently. Giving your massive campaign speeches 2008 and 2012 when your teleprompter would turn off. And you lacked, not basic knowledge, you lacked any knowledge on whatever the hell it was you were talking about because you froze up and couldn't even pretend to make up a story just to at least keep on track with your topic. You just froze up and could not speak until the teleprompter came back online. You are nothing but a pen, a signer. You're the signer. You got the pen, sign it. Sir, we're putting this in front of you, sign it. Citigroup just gave us the legislation to pass in the House, Senate. We did so, sir. Sign it. You got it. National Defense Authorization Act, which is insane when you see some of the stuff that's in it. Sign it. Yes, sir. That's all he does. I'm the sign boy. So he's out of the country. His wife, of course, out of the country. And we have John Kerry out of the country. So Kerry in Oman for Yemen peace talks. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry arrived Monday in Muscat, Omani, state media said, for talks expected to focus on efforts to end Yemen's 19-month conflict. ONA news agency said Kerry will be in the Gulf Sultanate for 2 days in one of his last trips as Secretary of State before President Barack Obama's administration ends on January 20th. He is scheduled to hold talks on Monday with Oman's Foreign Minister Yusuf bin Alawi and to meet ruler Sultan Qaboos. I guess you have to say that. Kerry has been pushing for a settlement of Yemen's deadly conflict, which escalated with the military intervention of a Saudi-led coalition in March 2015. So let's stop and talk about that for a second, shall we? Now, you know, as I've told you 400 times now, Lindsey Williams, 2010, in 4 to 5 months, we, America, are going to be overthrowing, through social media uprisings, the Middle East. It's going to start with Egypt. It's going to go to Yemen. It's going to go to Libya. It's going to go to Syria. And then it's going to end in Saudi Arabia. That was the plan. Now, you know, it hasn't gone in quite as planned because the guy they put in power in Egypt, they overthrew him. Yemen, you almost didn't even hear the news. It happened so fast. Libya, you did hear the news. They killed him, Gaddafi. And we've been trying desperately to get past Assad in Syria, and it's not happening. So the club's plans have been on halt. They're trying and trying and trying. There's been fighting back and forth between Saudi Arabia now, as it just said, and Yemen. Also, Libya's having problems. Again, that's because we've destabilized them and put in our little Muslim Brotherhood leaders, just like Lindsey Williams said. So when I see this, John Kerry going to Yemen, all of a sudden, after Donald Trump has won, that is telling me the people we put in power, who know they were put in power to do our bidding, we'll give you the power. You're going to be the leader over there. You're going to do what we want you to do. Oh, sure. And to prove it, Libya, when the fighting first started, before they even had Gaddafi killed, you know, the rebels, the Libyan rebels, just like we had the Syrian rebels, the Libyan rebels. They already had, I read you the story in my own video, they already had a central bank and an oil company ready to go. As soon as Gaddafi's gone, we got this. And when they killed him, that central bank went into effect, and that oil company went into effect. And part of the deal, I read it to you. Part of the deal, central bank, you're going to need some money in the central bank. You're going to have to sell off all the gold that Gaddafi had so we can put some cash money in your central bank. And they did. Okay? So, do you think something similar happened in Yemen, considering it was exactly number 2 on the list that Lindsey Williams said we'd go into and overthrow and give to the Muslim Brotherhood? The answer is yes. So since the answer is yes, why do you think John Kerry's heading over there urgently? To reassure them, because they're saying, excuse me, we were told Hillary Clinton was going to come into power, be the president, and this little side illegal deal we're having with you guys is going to continue on for all parties, you know, benefit of all parties. And now this SOB Donald Trump has won. Mr. Kerry, we need you over here urgently. Now, Mr. Kerry's not going to pick up the phone and call. He's not going to pick up a device to email. He knows better. You saw what happened to Hillary Clinton. My friends in Yemen, I'm going to get on a flight and come over there so we can talk face to face. You know, no emails. We don't want that coming up again. And he's going to have to go over there and reassure them, guys, the plan's still on. You're still going to be in power. We're still going to help you. We're still going to funnel weapons and money to you, just like we do to all ISIS members. And you guys are ISIS. We just don't tell the world you are ISIS. We tell you, the world, that you guys are the rebels. Good guy rebels. That's who you guys are. That story will keep going. So he now has to go convince these people in the Middle East. And I'm sure it's not just going to be Yemen. You're going to have to convince them. You have nothing to worry about. So either A, he's going to convince them Donald Trump won't make it into the White House. Don't worry about it. Or that's A. Or B, Donald Trump is going to make it in the White House, but we've got all of our best assets, advisors, etc., surrounding him. You have nothing to worry about. Okay. That's my opinion. 100%. Jason 4 opinion. Take care.